Ladies and gentlemen, did you find an opportunity to follow Raila Odinga's Kisumu rally in Mamboleo? I can honestly say that was a rapture. You know, the Kisumu rally was actually organized very strategic to provide the momentum for the Jacaranda Raila Odinga official unveiling as the Azimio presidential candidate. And if you followed that rally, then you will agree with me that I think its objective was well achieved. First, there is something that I noticed that from the Kondele side, when they were coming all the way from Kondele, going through the town way, the Manyata way, to go through Mamboleo, the choice of music, they chose the Luo music and a gospel song that I think was helped to give a different mood for people who understand that song. That song itself was very captivating and showing hope. Then the tactic was very easy. Build the crowd all the way from Kondele, and you know the famous Kondele is normally, that's where the crowd is normally built from. Then they went all the way to the stadium. Now, at the stadium, that is where you could really see the mood. And of interest to many was the mood in Kisumu. I think that tells the country, and if you follow it, you will realize that that tells the country the kind of mood that this country can have when, and not if, when Raila Odinga will be announced the president. That is very interesting, and I followed that rally, and I just want to point out some few observations that we saw there as we move towards the Jacaranda official launching tomorrow. First, let me just keep you abreast of the news also on the other side. IEBC have replaced Chris Musando by a Luo gentleman known as Michael Ouma. And I don't know, I'm still figuring out whether we'll do an analysis on it. And that is the director of ICT. This is the position that was occupied by the late Musando before he passed on a few days to the 2017 general election. Then there is also director of the legal, is also another gentleman. I think I'll find the name, but he's also another Luo guy who have also been appointed at the IEBC. So, well and done. Kisumu rally was to prepare for the big day tomorrow, and Kisumu have welcomed Raila Odinga. First, of something that I observed is the choice by Raila Odinga and most speakers who are from Luo to address that audience in the Luo. If you listen to Orengo, spoke in the Luo, I think Professor Nyang' Nyong'o also spoke in the Luo. I just trying to capture a few. And even Raila Odinga himself decided to capture it in the Luo. This is what the president did when he was doing Sagana 3. And the choice of talking to the Kisumu residents in the Luo is, I think, was very strategic to make sure that the information or what they were saying gets home. And for your information, the Kisumu rally was not a rally for Kisumu residents, but I think it was just a wake-up call for the Luo nation. It was also going to test the ground there. How have people taken Raila Odinga's presidential bid? Remember, this is something that he just announced, I think, in December 10th. Then after that, he's been doing one rally after the other. He took some break, some 10 days break in February, came back. Then, you know, the Azimio politics has been moving on. So Kisumu was very, very, very receptive. The speeches in the Luo, for me, that was something that strike. And that is why you could realize that the speakers could easily gel with the people that are on ground. Now, the reception of Raila Odinga in Kisumu was extraordinary. In fact, even found it very difficult to address the crowd because they were like, there is nothing you are telling us. We just want to chant your name and just feel happy. So the moment Raila rose from the seat, the crowd went in frenzy. I just want you to watch this here. I think this is a very good perception value because it's first showing, it's first going to re-energize, even amongst Raila supporters, traditional supporters from Nyanza in the west and that bit, the people who are a bit fatigued. But when they see such kind of enthusiasm, it actually rejuvenates them and feels like, okay, there is still time for us to take Raila to State House. Also, this works even on trying also to rejuvenate other supporters even outside the Nyanza region. It shows the kind of enthusiasm. I was following this rally through the Raila Odinga's Facebook page, and if you look at the comment section, everyone was saying, it's time for Raila Odinga. These people really yearn for it. These people need it. And the songs were really on liberation, on why it is Raila Odinga's time. Of interest to me also was the Madoadoa apology. Very point. That was in point. Raila Odinga, when speaking in Wajir, he spoke about the Madoadoa. And then the next day, this Madoadoa word had been used by Mythical Inturi somewhere in Eldoret rally. And he was really punched because he was saying like, the people who are not from Kalenjin should not stay there or something like that. So when Raila was using it in Wajir, it was blown out, and the Tanga other politicians tried to make it look like, of course, it was a hate speech. And before that rally, the NCIC summoned Raila Odinga. And I think the communication, rather the strategy team, made it wise for him to offer a public apology, even though he did it in an explainer so that he could explain why there was need, why he used the context of the word Madoadoa. For me, that was timely. And this is good because remember when there was the public debacle about the William Ruto statement on DRC Congo, he was really punched and it really took him time. Actually, the conversation took too long because William Ruto took too long to even apologize and communicate. But by Raila Odinga coming out to dismiss this statement and offer this apology timely, this is going to end that conversation. I think it ends there because even the people who are calling for him to be summoned just wanted him to apologize. So he has already gone ahead of them and apologized. I wanted to listen to his statement on this.
Sikumaanisha ya kwamba tutaki kabila lingine kule Wajir. Kwa hivyo kama kuna mtu yeyote ambaye hakunielewa vizuri, ambaye ameona makosa, mimi naambia yeye pole sana. Pole sana. Pole sana. Sisi hatuwezi kupagua Mkenya yeyote kwa msingi ya kikabila. Yile Madoadoa nilitumia kule Wajir ni tofauti sana na ile ya Eldoret. Maana kule walikuwa nasema Muhindi harudi kwao kule Punjab. Lakini mimi nilisema Wajir hakuna chama ingine. Hapa Kisumu hakuna Madoadoa, sio? Kisumu ni Azimio Zone, ama sivyo? Wakati nasema Kisumu ni Azimio Zone, nione kwa mkono.
Now, guys, there is something that happened very critical, and if you followed it, there were some leaders within Kisumu that were calling on Junet Mohammed. First, the choice of picking Junet Mohammed as the MC in an event that is within the Nyanza space is normally very wise. It is wise because, first, he is not a typical Luo speaker, so he will not be emceeing typically in the Luo. Of course, he will be emceeing in Kiswahili, and that is very good. Secondly, he does not have the favorism. You understand? And so I realized that when he was calling the speakers to talk, there was some point, I think it reached to a point he told the rest just to wait and they were going to talk at some other time. Then they were like, Jeanette is spoiling this thing. Now, that debacle, it was a bit unnecessary because the truth of the matter is that was a Kisumu event and it was a national event. So there is no way Junet Mohammed could give an MCA in Kisumu time to campaign in Raila Odinga's national Azimio presidential campaign rally, while we have leaders like from the other regions that were there, because that was a national campaign movement. That was a national campaign. It was not a Kisumu affair where the MCAs from Kisumu really wanted to seize the moment so that they be seen, so that they can take that opportunity to campaign. So for me, I think he was being bashed by some few politicians, MCA aspirants in Kisumu, but it was within his right to make sure that he reduced those speeches so that the other people that are from the rest of the country could get the time to talk. I don't know whether you watched The Female Generals, led by Charity Ngilu. This, I have realized that is another league in Raila Odinga's campaign team that are very influential, and they're the ones that even charged the crowd. When the people are doing Igwe, they went and they were doing the salutes, and this is something that for the generals, it uplifts the stature of Raila Odinga. Guys, I don't know what you feel about that rally, but those are some few observations that I picked, and also in the light of his speech. One thing I normally like with Raila Odinga's speeches is at the end of it, he must always talk about what he wants to do for Kenyans. He must, and not doing it in sloganeering. He must talk about the baba care. He must talk about the uzalishaji, usawa. I think when he was explaining the Madoadoa, he said that Kisumu is Azimio. What this means is he has actually digressed from the other narrative that Kisumu is ODM. For me, that speaks volume because that is giving the other aspirants within Azimio and not within ODM a breathing space. There are aspirants who are going to seek seats through Jubilee and other constituent parties within Azimio. And that is sending a very good signal because it's going to accommodate and avoid that fallout after the party primaries. With that, I think even any other aspirant who wants to vie outside ODM really found himself within the confines of Azimio la Umoja, and that is something that is a welcome call from the Azimio strategic team. So guys, that's my analysis. Let's look at how Jacaranda will blow out, and I can promise you it will be fire.